Good to see everybody. Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith, just Keith. I'm making sure all the streams are working. It was tripping a little bit before I started. That's why we were a couple minutes late. Not to worry. Let me get situated in my seat here and we'll get off and running. Glad to see everybody. Couple days later, Bitcoin continues to impress and do its thing while everything else just gets stuck waiting and watching. We'll talk about it. Everything else sits back and rides the pine while Bitcoin keeps going and doing its thing. We'll talk about it. And not to mention that thumbnail that I made, you know exactly what I'm trying to say. Let's talk about the 4-year cycle a little bit, and what better way than having the Queen, Britney Spears, as the thumbnail. You guys know what's up. And if you don't, now you do. Welcome to Crypto After Dark. If you haven't done so, please, hang on a second. I got to, still tripping here. Hang on. Where's it at? Main monitor's not working. Hang on. I'm trying. Don't know what's tripping. Backdrop. There we go. All right. Now we got, what you guys can't see is I've got 5 different layouts over here, so it's sometimes complicated. Welcome to Crypto After Dark, everybody. If you haven't done so, please go hit like. Hit the subscribe bell while you're there and the notification bell so you don't miss anything, bro. We don't want you to miss what's going on. If you're over on X, give us a like, give us a follow. We do this every single Thursday, 11 p.m. late night. Why do we do it late night? Well, because there ain't no kids out watching, and we can kind of say and do what we need to say and do to get the point across a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to dive into the Bitcoin cycle and why I think everything's just fine. And I think James Wynn is quite wrong. We'll go into some other stuff. But first, I want to start with the 1 hour Bitcoin. Let me drop the chat box off here for a second. I'll wait on all y'all to jump in before we start talking about a bunch of different chats and stuff. You know what I mean? I like to let everybody get in and get their turn to talk and say, hey, and tell me where you're from, what's up, where you watching at, where you been. Where you going and where you coming to, you know what I'm saying? Pause. There you go. So, if you haven't done this before, you haven't been on a stream before, we're all data, all charts all the time. You're not going to get any subjective takes, no opinions. It'll be all data and all facts. Now, obviously, I can analyze the facts different than other people, but I'm going to try to be as objective as I can and as subjective as non-subjective as humanly possible, if that makes sense. I don't want to guess. I want to look at facts and data, not opinions. There's a big difference in the facts and the data versus what you feel. I say that all the time, but we got to stop feeling. That feeling costs us money. And while people don't like to admit that, it's the truth, all right? You don't want to let your feelings get in the way, because when your feelings get in the way, it tends to cost you. Bam, there we go. I just all of a sudden realized that thing wasn't muted yet. What's up, by the way, Ox Butts? What's up, Jeremy? What's up, Nomad? All 3 of you guys, if you would, please go retweet this or repost this and let everybody know what's going on. Go share it around, everybody. I appreciate you. Ox Butts already reposted it. I appreciate that, Ox Butts. Everybody go repost it so we get as many people on here as we can, man. Slowly but surely, we're chipping away at sentiment little by little. We got a few people watching on the Rumble. We got a few people watching over on the YouTubes. Glad to see it. So, the first thing I want to do is we'll dig into, I got the X chart pulled up right here. I'm going to flip over to YouTube. I got it on the side over here. You guys can't see it, but I'm watching over on YouTube. First, let's talk about the range that we've got right here. So I've got the green lines that you see, the green horizontal lines that you see are all liquidation levels. And I'm going to do a little bit more talking tonight and a little bit less bang, bang, bang data. We don't talk enough on here. I don't probably explain stuff as much as I should, but we'll do a little bit of explaining as we go through here. So what you haven't been told about everything that you're doing in crypto is it's all chart based. It's all buyers and seller based. You may think you know what that means, but the problem is most people are just ill-informed on this stuff. So you don't quite understand what all that entails. And I need to adjust the camera a little bit. I just realized I can do that on the fly though. Ready? Here we go. There we go. I don't know why the camera was shrunk down, but whatever. It's good to go now. So I look a little weird I look skinny. I'm not skinny. All right, so what you don't know is we can chart how many buyers and how many sellers are at any given time, and we can determine whether it's a good time to buy or a bad time to buy. You might often hear something say like, the buyers are piling in, but how do you know? You might also hear something like, oh man, there's so many people selling, but how do you know? Well, we know by looking at the chart. The chart gives us the data to let us know, are more people buying or are more people selling? Background jazz, my bad, now it's running. I have buttons to automate this stuff, but the problem is it doesn't always work like I want it to. And for what it's worth, I've got 4 screens of buttons over here on the Stream Deck that I do all kind of different stuff, and I do need to change it around and update it a bit, I think. I'll get to that eventually. More so, we chart these trends. What happens is most of the time you'll see a lot of buyers come in or a lot of sellers come in, and we're able to chart that trend and see how much longer the buyers are going to be in control, or vice versa. How much longer will the sellers be in control? We're able to look at that and see it and spot it based on the chart and make an objective, informed decision rather than an emotional, rash decision. We don't like to make emotional, rash decisions. We like to make smart, calculated decisions. I've got green lines marked here, and this is all where shorts have jumped in and tried to push the price down. What is a short? Well, a short is a bet against the market, all right? You're betting against whatever asset is on the chart. It doesn't matter. It could be Bitcoin, it could be Ethereum, it could be taco shells, it could be fuel, it could be oxygen if you're selling oxygen. Whatever it is, it's on a chart, all right? We can look at this and go, I wonder why so many are coming in here, or I wonder why so many are coming in there. Once we do this, we kind of get zones determined here that we can look at on the chart, and we can see where price is likely to go back to based on that, all right? All those short levels you see right there are all places where the buyers kind of ran out of steam, and the bears, who are the people putting in the shorts, the bears, they come in and kind of rush the price back down a little bit, all right? And depending on how far they rush it down or push that price down, depending on how far they bet against the market, it determines how much farther we're likely to go based on a trend, all right? If it's 2 sellers and 75 buyers, well, obviously there's not going to be that much down. If there's 12 buyers and 15 sellers, we're teetering on the red side there. If there's 2 buyers and 75 sellers, obviously we're in a downtrend, okay? Please know that's how it works. I got the green marked as shorts. I've got the red marked as longs. Longs are the bulls buying up with pressure, with volume. Why do we call them bulls and bears? People ask this a lot. Well, it's pretty simple, actually. What's up, Covey from Columbus? Good to see you, brother. So what's cool about bulls is we call them bulls because have you ever seen a bull use his horns and push something down? Or do bulls usually use their horns and flip something up in the air? That's right. They usually flip something up in the air. So that's why bulls go up. Have you ever seen a bear throw an uppercut? No. Bears always go down. They always claw down. They have big, massive paws, big, massive claws, and they always drag the price down. Bears go down, bulls go up. That's why you'll hear people say, I'm bullish, meaning you think the price is going to go up. It's usually feelings, and then you'll say, oh, big bearish. That means you're very, very with the side of the sellers, the side of the bears that are pushing the market down. You can see these areas by the places where the price drastically changes direction. Once you've got a defined direction, you can kind of draw a line here and mark it, all right? I've marked multiple short levels here that have come along. Why aren't they all marked? I'll go over that in a minute, but let's roll back here a little bit, all the way back to May 22nd when the shorts really started to come in. So there's a couple things that need to happen for these shorts to be able to hold up. All right, when the shorts come in like they did right here, you need to make sure that you don't cross that green line again, because if you do, we flip back bullish. We would be creating an uptrend. If the price were to come all the way back down and go up through here and get above that yellow line, that would be bullish because the price is going up and it's got above the previous high. It's making a new high or a higher high. And a higher high is part of an uptrend. Problem, we didn't get that, did we? Nope. Nope, we didn't get that. What did we get? We got a high and a higher low. Very good. So that was our low, our high, our higher low, our higher high, our higher low. Doing pretty well. And then, oof, we got a lower high. There's our first high and then our lower high. And you can see these shorts held up pretty well. They didn't give up. They didn't quit. They held the line. And as they held the line, price didn't make it back to the previous high. More shorts piled in and more shorts piled in. Why isn't this area marked? Well, I'll show you why that area isn't marked. If we mark that area and we drag it to the right, looky there. We actually crossed that area back in, Monday, June 9th, on Monday. We actually crossed that level and got through it. When that happens, we call that a liquidation event. When you have multiple shorts pile in like you had right here, and then you have price very aggressively come back up and just tag the line like it did right there. See that? Just tag the line. Those are liquidation events. If you're wondering, and you've been watching on X, you've been watching on YouTube, and you've seen people talk about it, James Wynn came out and said, I know what's going on. I'm going to long the market. And then it went the other way. It went short on him and he lost money. He said, I'm going to short the market. Then the market went long and he lost money. Then he said, I'm going to long the market. Then the market went short and he lost money. Then he said, I'm going to short the market. Then the market went long and he lost money. Classic failures of an influencer who doesn't chart, who's doing it all emotionally. And he might say he can chart, but he's not. Let's be real, because if he was charting, he'd be looking at the levels and he'd know, oh man, my liquidation is going to get hit here when that price comes back to where I started. I'm in trouble. We all know this. Us chart guys know this, and we watch these levels very, very closely. This is what we're looking for to see when a trend flips the other way. You can see we had a high and a lower high and a lower high and a lower high, and then we had a trend flip. And it finally got loose of all these lows and broke loose. And it made a new high right here. Excellent. Liquidations came in. Problem. We got more piling in now. More shorts. More shorts. Well, hey, big volume come in and it pushed through and it nuked some of these shorts in here. Problem. It didn't get a high enough. And that short level right there at about 108,750 still hanging pretty tough. And a matter of fact, since it held tough and didn't get liquidated, just like this one back here, see that? That high and then that lower high, you never quite got to your liquidations up there. Same thing happened back here, all right? There was your high, you never quite got back all the way up to them, and you've got another short level that's kind of developed here. So, in order to flip this short level and ruin these new shorts that came in right here, see that says new shorts? In order to ruin their day, we need this price to get back above that line and close. Not just throw a wick up there, but close a candle or two. Now, this is a 2-hour chart, but you get what I'm trying to say. We need the action to go back in that direction to prove it. Hey, we're not playing around here. The bulls are here to stay. We're ready to fight. Problem is, it might not get there. I'll explain why it might not get there in a moment. Now, what about the longs? What about the guys who drove the price up? Well, they were getting their asses handed to them back here for a little bit, and I'll draw it out. So you can have longs here. You had longs down here, and as you see, that price just came through and just and blew right through them like they weren't even there. Just a couple jabs right in the mouth, and them longs got destroyed, or what we say, longs nuked. All right. After that, price battled back, and I like to draw these areas. I like to go down to the very low time frame. I'll go all the way down to the 15-minute here, and I'll explain why. I'll go all the way down to the 15-minute, and I find where the candles started reversing. And if you notice here, we had a whole bunch of candles that kind of reversed right along this level. Now, you could change it and draw it a little bit here, a little bit there if you want. Up to you. You can kind of pick and choose exactly how you want to draw it. But I found an area down there that I liked, so I marked it as a liquidation level. We can go check other stuff also and look for those liquidation levels. There's other indicators and stuff like that. Not necessarily needed. You can go to a couple websites and see all the information that you need. All right, so no need to pay for any of that. The next thing is, once we made this big run up and we caught a little bit of range, well, guess what? More bulls jumped in. Oh, they jumped in a little late, didn't they? First bulls were down here. Second bulls were down here. We got that big push. That's why I called it heavy longs. And you ran all the way up and things slowed down a little bit. All these bulls jump in here a little bit late, right? They're coming at the end of the party here, so I call them late longs. A little bit late to the party, but you're still there. Another push up, but the problem is we didn't liquidate that level up there. We came up a little short. And since we came up a little short, we've started to roll over here a little bit. Not exactly what you want to see, especially when you're needing some volume to get you up out of the mess. Could be worse though. Since this was the last place that the longs came piling in, that's the target for the bears. You want to try to knock them out. You want, as a bear, if you're shorting the market, you want to force these guys' hand and push them out of the way. You want to push them out of the pile and make them suffer, all right? And the only way to do that is to run this price back down here to this late long level, nuke them, get them out of the way, and kick them to the curb, so to speak, all right? That's what every single bear wants to do. Likewise, those bulls want to push all the way up there. They just didn't make it yet. They're going to bide their time here a little bit, and they're going to wait to see a level get hit of support. We've talked about support and resistance a ton of times on here, but essentially go back onto the left of the chart a little bit and find a place where a bunch of candles all opened and closed in the same spots. Those are support and resistance areas. If you look right through here, a lot of candles right through here, isn't it? See all those? That's a lot of candles. Price could just come right back down here and sit here on this big support level and be all right. Even though it turned red, it would be all right. Bulls are waiting for that as well. When they know they've come down to a level that's fair, they'll fight back even harder, especially when you get down here and the bears think they've won. You'll see those bulls try to fight back and give it another push up. That leads me into the higher time frames. All right, as we go to 4 hour, you start to see we pretty much still lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, right? Still kind of not batting 1,000 right there. Still kind of hadn't got a base hit yet. You fouled off a couple pitches, but you hadn't got a base hit yet. And I don't know the cricket terminology for that, but I'm also not going to try to understand it. We're able to put up other stuff on the chart as well and kind of give us a better idea of what may be going on to go along with the data that we already got. Here's the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. Relative Strength Index is a measure of how powerful any particular chart is. Anywhere in the purple zone is fairly nominal, but especially when you're near this midline. That's between 40 and 50, right? That's what I call the kind of the weight zone, right? It's kind of the nominal, boring mid zone, right? Between 40 and 50. There's 40, there's 50. And it tends to get hung in this area a lot. And as you see, it bounced right at 40 and jumped back over 50. More so, I want you to see that it's not overbought, which would be up here, meaning we need to sell some. As you see, these are signs to sell up here, or oversold down here. You get prices down here. This is where you're looking to add to an asset. Why? Well, because it's oversold. And if it's oversold, it's a little bit too much on sale, and we call that a bargain in the real world. Take your bargains when you get them, especially if you can afford them. All right? Fair enough? So we move on. We can look at the MACD here. What is the MACD? Well, that's moving average convergence divergence, MACD, moving average convergence divergence, MACD. As you see, ton of sell volume. We've had two little green candles. Two little volume bars, three little volume bars. Look at all this big volume we had over here when we really ran the price up. See the difference in volume? We haven't had that happen yet, have we? All of that volume that lasted from March all the way through May dried up real quick, didn't it? Yeah. See right up here when we started crossing over, the volume dried up. We started crossing over. Blue crossed back down through the orange. Those are the areas where you got to be super careful when the price has gone way up here above on the MACD, crossed over and starts working its way back down, and you've got falling volume. All right, the good news is we do have a bit of convergence here, bullish convergence here. You've got the price coming up on the MACD here, and you got the price coming up on the chart, and you've got RSI working its way up. That is bullish convergence. Good news, right? How about moving averages? We haven't even looked at those. Add them in there. You can see the 58 and 21 right there. You love seeing that. That's great. 100 and 200 just crossed. So all your moving averages are in order except one. You look very closely right here. You've got the 21 EMA still under the 50. We need that 21, that purple line, to jump over that yellow line. Then all the moving averages are in the correct order. Once they're in the correct order, there's nothing to stop this thing from taking off and going. It may take a bit, but there's nothing to stop it from taking off and going. Last thing we'll do is the Ichimoku cloud. Ichimoku cloud has 4 points. You've seen me talk about it a dozen times on here, and I'm going to continue to do so because the Ichimoku cloud is an old school, very useful indicator. Let me find a cleaner chart for you. And there we go. Perfecto. So we have 4 points on the cloud that we look for to make things turn good or turn bad. All right. We first want to see is the price over the cloud. Well, you can see the cloud right here, and you can see the price is very much over it. Ding, that's one. How about baseline and conversion line? Conversion line is the blue line, baseline is the red line. We want the blue above the red. We don't got that, do we? Sorry, so that's 1 out of 2. Lag line, the line in the back, what we call the lagging span. That white line right there is the candles. Instead of being candles, it's a line, and it's moved back 27 spaces. Math's not important. More so what it says is how we use it. If the lag line is above the candles like it is right now, good. If it's below the candles like it was a couple days ago, bad. We're above the candles, good. So that's 2 out of 3. Last thing, is the cloud on the end green or is the cloud on the end red? And I'm sorry, but this bad girl just turned red for the first time in a very, very long time. It's been all the way since the middle of May since this cloud was red. All right, if you notice that right there, first time it was red was in May 15th. Last time it was red. It's been green since, and it just flipped red. But please understand that if we get a couple more green days, this thing's going to flip right back green again. So we're 2 out of 3. We're 2 out of 4 with that red cloud on the end. It's close. It's close, but it's not there exactly yet. All that brings me, oh yeah, what she's just said right there, 821.50 moving average, absolute fire. You've got 3 out of 4 on the Reaper strategy. What is the Reaper strategy? How does that work? What does that mean? Well, the Reaper strategy works like this, folks. 50 moving average in yellow. Do you have 2 candles over it? You do? Good. 821 EMA. Do you have 2 candles over the 8 EMA? You do right there, that green line right there. You got multiple candles over the 8 EMA. Do you have the green line, the 8 EMA, over the purple line, the 21 EMA? You do. That's 3 out of 3. Good deal. You got the Reaper strategy locked in. You're good to go as far as that goes. Where do you set your stop loss? Well, you put your stop loss underneath the last weekly low, which is the Reaper line. All right. We have a predetermined, already built-in indicator for you in our Discord. All you got to do is jump over to the Discord and download it. You get it, plug it right into TradingView, and it fires up and works for you. It automatically gives you points along the way. It even pops up little alerts, tells you when to buy. Right there, 50 moving average buy, 8 EMA buy. It's even telling you, oh yeah, by the way. And when you get an 821 cross, pops a little flag up and even tells you got an 821 buy, and then it starts to tell you to sell if you'd like it to tell you to sell also. It's up to you. Reaper strategy is free with our Discord, wap.com/team786 right there at the bottom. We have tons of different indicators that are custom made. That way you can save money on TradingView, so you don't have to pay for an expensive TradingView plan. You can jump in and get the indicators out of the Discord, and it saves you money, bro. It saves you money. All right, so I'll show you one more time here, and then we'll jump into our cycle chart to talk about exactly how wrong and stupid a certain person can be sometimes. Still been showing you guys this, and I'll show it to you again. We had our downtrend back here, our lower high, lower high, lower high, to go along with our lower low, lower low, lower low. Things changed. We jumped trend, and we started our uptrend here. All right, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Things changed, didn't they? They sure did. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Unfortunately, we are still in a lower high situation right here. Now, we did get over this last little high right here. I like that. I think that helps create a base of support. Problem, we haven't made a new high yet. So be very careful. Tiptoe here, all right? Things could get very hairy, and this thing could continue to also just chop along and go sideways and really piss you off. Note that the next FOMC meeting is in late July. That's when they might actually decide on cutting rates. I know that Fed and Jerome Powell are getting a ton of pressure to cut rates. The rest of the world is doing it, and what happens is you get left behind if you wait too long. Even if your economy says maybe do this or maybe do that, you wait too long, poof, before you know it, you're too late and you're trying to chase your tail again. And if you don't know anything about the U.S. government, they're almost always too late. Almost always too late. It sucks, but it is what it is. All right, so with that, let's jump into showing you exactly how wrong James Wynn is. All right, so I've got 3 separate charts here I'm going to show you. I've shown you this before, and I'll kind of try to explain it. All right, I have dropped my camera off here. I've got 3 charts, all weekly charts, all sized up beside each other perfectly, 1-to-1, size-wise and time-wise. So even time-wise, they're almost identical. On the left, 2016, as you see, there's our halving line. We marched up. Sniper's Alley levels right here where this red, 2 red lines are. That's the Sniper's Alley at 786, 886. We marched right on up through there to the 1272, 1414, and 1618 Fibonacci retracement levels that you see right there, right? Those are mathematical waypoints on the chart that kind of let us know where things may start and stop. And please note the price action as that happened. Look at that start and stop. Stopped right at 1414, came right to the 1272, stopped right at the 1618, came back to the 1414. And then, of course, it shot up more and did more. We don't necessarily expect that all the time, but we do expect these 3 lines to get hit. 2020, same situation. There's your Sniper's Alley level. Right there was your halving line. You marched right on up through it to the 1272. Stopped at the 1414, back down to the 1272 fib, up to the 1618. Then you came back down to the 1272. It kind of got hung up. You can see it all right there. It stopped, did a double top at the 1618, and that was the end of the bull run. Note that the timelines are damn near identical. The blue lines indicate when the bull run's over. Look at 2016. It was perfect. All right, and I got another one to show you after this one. All right, that's the other one I'll show you here. I got his tweet right here. The 4-year cycle is finished. To show you exactly how inaccurate he is almost always, he said the 4-year cycle is over right at the same time the chart flipped and did a bullish weekly engulfing. There is no evidence to show that this 4-year Bitcoin cycle is over. Let me say that again. There is no evidence to show that the Bitcoin 4-year cycle is over. None. In fact, there's plenty of evidence, like I'm showing you now, to say that it is not over and that it's actually pretty darn close to identical, as you've seen objectively on the chart in front of you. You see me right now, but you know what I mean. Let me jump back to the charts. I'm going to show you monthly now with a parabola and with the same Fibonacci retracement pulled up. I even have arrows drawn on it so you can see it in a little bit better detail. All right, I'm going to draw this up in front of you guys so you know I'm not bullshitting, all right? Here's my monthly charts. All right, it's the same situation. Let me drag them all in line here. I've got them labeled. I do this every single time I turn my computer on. I do it at least twice a day. I try to keep this computer running all the time, but I can't. I can't run it all the time. Wish I could. I have a laptop over here I keep running all the time. She's still kicking, but that's separate. So 2012 on the left, as you see, there's our halving line right there in the middle, the green line. Fibonacci retracement shows us exactly what I just showed you on the other one. There's our Sniper's Alley level, Sniper's Alley level, Sniper's Alley level, and Sniper's Alley level. Look how similar they are. Here's our parabola. See that right there? Our curved rise kind of follows that trend. See it over there every single time. Here's our arrow denoting where we were in the cycle at the exact same time we are now. That's our white arrows right there. And if you don't know what I mean, this is the month of June in 2013. The month of June in 2017. The month of June in 2021. The month of June in 2025. They are literally side by side by side by side, almost identical. They're all holding the parabolas. They all based on halvings. They're all damn near identical for Fibonacci retracement. They're not perfect, but they're all very close. To say that the 4-year cycle is finished and to get 569,000 views, right there's the same stupid tweet right there. I'll size it up for you to see it better. The 4-year cycle is finished, he said. Couldn't be more wrong in my opinion. But I wanted you to see this so you could understand exactly how bad people can be at picking heroes. Please, folks, stop picking the stupid people to give all the attention to. My kid is one of the guilty parties. He sits around and watches these stupid YouTube streamers who do dumb, retarded pranks that aren't even funny. All right? And yes, I said the R word. They're not even funny. And in fact, I think it's kind of making fun of people with handicaps the way they act. I don't think it's necessarily cool. Oh boy, do the kids get a kick out of it though. And because they know they get a kick out of it, they just keep loading them up with content over and over and over again. When you see people say very dumb, bombastic things like he does, it's for attention. In fact, he's doing so bad that he started asking for people to give him money so that he could then gamble it more. Terrible. Terrible. Just because someone has a lot of money doesn't mean they're smart. It doesn't take a genius to hit on a meme coin and get rich. You get lucky, but it doesn't take a genius. It happens a lot, actually. So please be more careful about who you pick as your hero. Please be more careful about who you pick, who you give attention to. Some of us are out here trying our best to help you guys, to help you make as much money as we can, to help everybody be a little bit more careful with what little money they may have. I know I'm just a normal guy, and I started with a very small amount of money here. Now I've grown it into a pretty good stack, and I don't want to lose that. And I'm basing everything that I say off of charts and data and not based on feelings and heart. All right. I want everyone else to try to practice the same thing and see if we can have a better result. Please stop making stupid people famous. It's not helping anything. All right. Sweet. Sweet. All right. Let me check the comments real fast and then we'll jump on down the street. Couldn't get the Discord links to work. That's weird. They did load, didn't they? Let me see. Did I click a button? I need to make sure I didn't screw something up. Hold on. Ah, they're on there. That's weird. I don't know. What's up, by the way? Cheese, ox butts. Y'all guys go give this stream a repost. Hit the repost button and say jump on the stream and see or something like that. And the more people we get, the more people who see the good message. And I'll actually retweet you guys doing the same thing, right? There you go. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Let's go next to, let's see, Bitcoin dominance would probably be the next important thing to look at here. Bitcoin dominance continues to flex on everybody and ruin everybody's damn day. It's pretty impressive. Hey, what's up, bro? Good to see you, Ricky. Where you been at, my guy? Good to see you. Long time no talk. How you been, brother? That's awesome. I love seeing people show back up after a while. That's awesome, dude. Con huesos. That's pretty funny. Thank you, Soto. Soto said I retweeted. What's up, Phonetic Duck, Miss Ariana, Crew Chief? What's up, Zach? What's up, brother? Good to see you. Everybody go give this a share and hit like while you're there. The more people watch, the better, man. We're trying to help the world out here the best we can. All right, so Bitcoin dominance is almost exactly the same scenario here as far as halvings go. I could draw more halvings on here. I just don't have them labeled because I want you to see the current price action, not so much the old stuff. But it was a very similar reaction to what we've got now. You had this very, very rapid drop-off, a slow recovery. But look, this recovery just hasn't failed. It continues to go and continues to drag along and pull the Bitcoin market up with it, while everything else kind of suffers. The tricky thing here is last time at halving, we had a halfway point here. There's our halfway point there, and it slowed down. Problem is, this bitch ain't slowed down. It continues to just push right on through. I thought it would slow down at the halfway point, and it hasn't. It just keeps going. You see that? Nothing up, but this one is up. It fell off pretty rapidly down here, and we had a pretty good alt season last bull run. Problem is, this just hasn't fallen off. And we're not going to get a bull run for a bunch of cryptos other than Bitcoin until Bitcoin dominance drops off. It's not the worst thing ever that it's doing good, but it's crippling altcoins. It's crippling altcoins. Money from Bitcoin profits has to roll down into altcoins for those altcoins to get that push, to get that sentiment, to get that trend flipped so that they can start to get new money into them. New money is coming into Bitcoin and maybe some Ethereum and other stuff. Old money continues to go into Bitcoin. You haven't got any new money in most altcoins. New money has mostly went to Bitcoin so far. There's going to come a time when they start to figure out you're going to make more money elsewhere, right? That hasn't happened yet, and the reason we know it hasn't happened yet is because these altcoins continue to get blistered every time Bitcoin sneezes a little bit, right? Note the price action in the last couple of days here for Bitcoin dominance. It continues to rip all the way up to the 1272 and the 1414. That's 66, 60, almost 67% market share. So 66 to 67% of market share of all the money in crypto is just in Bitcoin. Forget all the other ones, just in Bitcoin. Until this breaks, until this fails, no altcoin market, no altcoin bull run. They're just going to get stuck in the mud and suffer. Will it break? Well, I damn sure hope so, man. I got a lot of money right on this shit that says it will. You know what I mean? So I hate to think that all the altcoins that we see right now that are just getting blistered, finally flip the trend and go back. I would think they eventually flip the trend and start turning green. It just hasn't happened yet. Ricky says, great, still alive. Glad to see you doing so well. Want more Mustang content. Bro, when we moved to this new house, and we moved here for the kids kind of, when we moved here to this new house, I have a 2-car garage, but the problem is it's a small 2-car garage, and you can't really fit 2 cars in it. You know what I mean? So the problem is I only have room for 1 car, her car in the driveway. And when we came here, I got a golf cart, 4-wheeler, a bunch of other stuff. So there's all this other stuff in the garage, and I can't really fit the Mustang in here. So I had to park it over at the farm. All right, it's over there at the farm with the trailer and a bunch of tools and stuff. I'm still waiting to build my shop because that's going to probably be 70 to 100K. And I was kind of waiting on that until I had enough cash to do it. I was kind of needing this bull run to get to a certain point so I could do that. I also want to build a house over at the farm. We want to build our forever house over there. That's kind of delayed. We don't really want to do that right now. We want the boys to kind of get out of high school before we do that. I was really just, kind of expecting more for altcoins. Now, we did have some push up, but not as much as I thought we would. And that's really suffered. The market's really suffered because of that. I mean, it's been a real pain in the dick, honestly. It's been a real pain in the dick. So we looked at Bitcoin. Let's go look through some other stuff. Here's CME, Bitcoin CME, by the way. Only other thing I can say on this is all the moving averages are lined up on Bitcoin CME. 8, 21, 50, 100, 200. They're all in perfect order. They're ready to go. Bitcoin CME can do whatever it wants, whenever it wants. It's ready to rock. You had this short-term trend break. You've kind of fought back and got toward the mean here. It's kind of just averaged out. Look at the Bollinger Bands. They're pointing up now instead of pointing down, and they continue to cruise sideways. As these cruise sideways, they will start to pinch in more. As they pinch in more, we will get volatility in this direction or volatility in this direction. It will happen. Bear with it. Now, I've already got a bunch of Bitcoin. I'm probably going to try to find some altcoins. Probably a mistake, but I'm going to try to find some altcoins. I got a lot of money to make back. All right, so let's jump into some other ones. And thank you all for watching, by the way. If you haven't done so, brother, go hit like. Subscribe. And hit the notification bell while you're there so you don't miss anything. We put content out all the time, bro. If it isn't this, we put out multiple clips every week. We post them on X, YouTube, and Rumble. We're on live streaming on all 3 right now. I'm multi-stream on 3 different platforms, so everyone has plenty of options to look through. Hey, I'm trying to do the best I can with what I got. You know what I mean? We average probably 300 to 700 people each night. Just depends. When we first started this, we used to get 5 to 6 people. You know what I mean? We've come a long way, dude. And again, it's all data all the time. No feelings, just straight facts, homie. All right, let's go to everybody's favorite XRP. It's all good, bro. Don't worry about it. We're good. A couple things to talk about here. All I drop these Bollinger Bands off. Number one, we are still getting pounded by the trend line. We haven't broken it yet. And until we break it, we're stuck in the mud. All right? It continues to reject over and over again. Simply put, this needs to break out. Once it breaks out, we are likely to get a back test. What do I mean by a back test? So I'm expecting at some point a breakout and a back test and then a go. Something kind of like that, right? That doesn't mean exactly like that, but something like that. The other option, what we continue to run into for now, is these rollovers where it just back tests and then stabs down real hard and really hunts for liquidity. Note that we have a liquidity area right down there in the bottom. Remember we talking about that on Bitcoin? Well, guess what? It works the same way with XRP, Solana, and Ethereum. Not to mention a bunch of other coins. But those are the top four. Those are the big four, the CME four. Your liquidity area would be right there. If this thing takes a stab down, this is the area that I'm looking for the big sting. Now, I'm hopeful that this is just a higher low and we're finally getting out of this mess and we're going to start digging out of the hole. We are still on support. It's still fighting with that $2 level and putting up a damn good fight. But it hasn't broken out yet. All these moving averages, you saw me talk about this a moment ago on Bitcoin CME, where they were all perfectly in order. Well, these are all perfectly upside down. 200, they're not actually perfect. So you've got the 200, the 50, the 100, the 21, the 8, all in the way. All compressing the price down. All keeping it from getting that big move like everybody wants to see. And I want you guys to have that same move. It's not like I'm not wanting it. Just saying, it's one of them things that's, boy, that thing's poking its tail out, taking forever. If I look at weekly here, we do need to note that we've got a good bullish engulfing going still, but we're stuck under the 821. We had a couple good weekly candles in here, but didn't get much out of it. So far, she's just kind of consolidated over and kind of grinding to the right. Bollinger Bands on the weekly are starting to tighten up though. And if we get a couple more weeks of sideways, you're going to see this weekly start to hook in and start to hook down, and we're going to see pressure build, and we're going to see some action. What kind of action? Well, we've seen this before for XRP on the weekly. Once it starts to pinch in and those Bollinger Bands get tight, it likes to go. Look back here. All the way back. This is all the way back to 2015, 2016, 2017. Look at the Bollinger Bands pinch down and watch what happens, right? Those bands pinch and we get volatility. Sometimes it's down, sometimes it's up. But note how it held support the whole time, right? Another big pinch right there. Look at that one. That was a very, very aggressive pinch. And then you got one more on the back side before it really finally snapped and took off. We've analyzed this chart 500 times, and I've always talked about it, but here you go again. We had a downtrend. It was very downtrendy. A lot of sell pressure. There was your high, then your lower high, then your lower high, then your equal highs, but all lower and then lower and then lower, and then bam, breakout. Back test, pop. Right? That's happened multiple times on XRP. And I'll go back up here so you can see it again. Same situation here. There's your big high and your lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, pop. Excellent. After that pop, you get a back test, pop. Back test, pop. And note this was right in the middle of the SEC investigation. And you still went all the way to $2 after. So one is inclined to believe that if we can dig out of this hole and get moving again, we might have some more juice left and can still run up here to this $6 level. There's things in the way, and I don't think we're just going to sprint to that level. I think we might have a shot at that by the end of the year. We'll see. For now, she's still stuck under trend, still thinking about it. I'd like to re-enter, but I can't yet. It's just not satisfactory enough for me. That was a good XRP rundown, I think. You know what I mean? I think that was a good XRP rundown. What's up, brother? He said, can we get DAG, brother? Let's see it breaking, and I need your insight. Leon, are you still on here? Talk to me first, and then I'll do it. But I want you to talk to me over here and let me know you're still here because I need your help. Is that fair? Talk to me over here and tell me you're still here, and I'll go through DAG because I need your help. All right, let's go to a couple other ones first. There's some that I found on the Assassin screener. Well, let me show you. This is called BR, Bedrock. Don't know what it is, don't care. But we have an automated system in our Discord that uses the very same things I'm telling you and kind of gives you data points, yes or no's. And it automates it for you, and it pings everyone every single day at about 8 to 9 o'clock at night. When the market closes, it pings you and tells you what looks good and what looks bad. This was one that just popped up as looking good. Are you still here? All right, we're going to do it, bro. So hang out for a couple minutes, and we're going to do it. I'll get to it in a second, but this one was in particular interesting to me because it came out of nowhere. What's so special about this one? And the answer is there's nothing special about it. Just want you to see that we are on the precipice of things happening. It might not have happened yet, but they're close. We got 821 crosses right here. This thing played around on the 821 and pop, jumped up over the 50. Obviously, that was a little more aggressive than most, but this thing almost doubled in price. It almost doubled in price in a day. All right. Things are going to happen like this, and we're going to continue to see things like this happen randomly. But what we're doing is trying to find the best looking ones as they come along. There was another one. Let me look up the name of it. It's so ridiculous. Clanker or something like that. Weird as shit, dude. But it's important that we talk about these because these weird coins, dude, they do well out of nowhere. And you go, what the hell? Let me see. HKS. There's another one. HKS. And what I'm doing is right now scrolling through the HSK. I'm sorry. HSK USDT. What I'm doing is scrolling through the Discord and looking at what I posted because everything I posted is in the Discord for everyone to see constantly. All right, so this one, same story. Playing with the 821 pop over the 50. That gave you a 3 out of 3 on the Reaper strat. 821 buy, 50 moving average buy, 821 cross. That's all you needed. She sprinted and ran straight to the 200 moving average. So many have not done this yet, but this one did. Very, very interesting to note. And there's multiple other ones like this. I'll do one more. Yeah, it's Clanker. This is weird as shit. Tell me you knew this was going to happen, everybody, because I'm just going to say you didn't and call you bullshit. But look at this. Out of nowhere, 821 cross. She gets a couple jumps, and then she is up and out of there like a bull with gas. Bam, gone, bam, gone. Now it's way over the 821. That's a new local high. I'd love to say some terrible things that I can't say much more than it's a little overbought. So remember I took it a second ago when I said some things are overbought. You want to start looking to scale out. Well, this is one of them situations where she's overbought, right? We don't have a whole bunch of oversolds left, but there are some out there. All right, Leon, I'm going to share this to you. I'm going to chart this. I'm going to chart DAG here. I'm going to record this. Will you please take this stream and share it everywhere? Please, that's all I ask. Share it to YouTube, share it to X, share it to Facebook, share it to LinkedIn, share it to Instagram, put it on Telegram. If you're in a Telegram group, drop it over there and say, hey man, check this guy out. He charted it. Please. Let's chart DAG. All right, DAG. Oh, I'm pushing buttons. Hang on. There we go. Let's do DAG. All right, pull it up, and here we go. He said, I'm here. I got in at 2 cents and just buying below there, roughly about 3 cents. He said, yes, sir. Sweet. So I got DAG pulled up on the chart here. First things first, note, she is approaching bear market lows again. It's under a ton of pressure. I don't like the fact that it failed this trend line right here. All right. See it right here. This was our trend that we started back at the end of 2024 when we had that push up that a lot of other coins had, right? They had that push up, and that was kind of the end so far. What's scary here is that it ran up and hit this 50 fib. And when it ran up and hit this 50 fib, that's the continuation line. You can get over it, continue up, reject it, get forced back down. This one got forced back down, and it really hasn't stopped coming down since. That's kind of worrisome right there. I don't like that it failed this trend line over here. That's another worrisome thing. It fell under the 236, and that 4 cent level continues to be a very, very stiff barrier. A very, very stiff barrier. All the moving averages are pressing it down. 150, 208, 21. I do like the green volume that it's had today. That's a good sign. And I would really, really like to see, pushed the wrong button. I would really, really like to see this thing get back over the 821 and at least challenge that 150 moving average right there at about 4 cents. That 4 cent is a booger. And if 4 cents breaks, 5 cents is also going to be a booger. Both those levels are going to be very difficult to get through if it can get through them. Let's talk about what could be. Here's another reason why I say it's going to be tough to get through. Same level right there. 236, 150, 821, all balled up in that one spot right there at about 4 cents. Roughly a little bit more, but close to 4 cents. All right. If you get above that, remember that 200 was pointing toward 5 cents. Now the weekly 200, look at the hook on that weekly 200 moving average, pulling down there, pointing downward. What's up, China Matt? Good to see you, brother. It says, send it to grandma. Let's go, dude. That's actually awesome. Thank you. That's China Matt's great, dude. Thank you, brother. I needed to laugh, dude. I haven't laughed in a couple of days. That felt good. Thank you. Again, 5 cents, that thing's hooking down really aggressively. I'm worried that it's going to pin the price down a little bit too. Now, I'm going to remove these weekly fibs here. And I want you to look at this move right here. It's a big move up, and then it started retracing its steps back down. We measure these retraces and find probabilities in them of where the retrace may stop. Grab the low, we'll grab the high, and we'll drag it right and use that diagonal line as a trend line. Right? You can kind of see right there that red line's roughly in the same spot. So just use the trend line here, the red line as a trend line, and don't worry about the dotted line for a moment. I just want you to see it a little bit more zoomed in. All right, so there we go. There's weekly fibs from the bottom to the top, and now we're measuring how far it's failed on the way back down. All right, so far, we failed the 236. That's pretty typical. We failed to 382, and look, it rejected it on the way back up. Look, you failed this level, and then it rejected, just couldn't get through it. Bam, pushed down to the next level. Got under this, rejected, broke it. Now rejecting. Now we've come all the way down to the golden pocket. The golden pocket is between 0.618 and 0.71. Some people will say it's only 0.618. That's fine also. But I like to give it a little bit of leeway, man. This is crypto. Nothing's perfect in crypto, right? You're trying to get close as you can. This is why we do this. I want everyone to see how we get as close as we can. All right. So far, we're holding on to the golden pocket. It absolutely must hold on to 3 cents. If it falls below 3 cents, she's in trouble, and she's coming down here to the Sniper's Alley levels of 2.5 to 2 cents. That's going to be rough if it comes all the way back down there. So far, it hasn't shown any signs that it wants to get up out of the mud. Here's your RSI. She's still super flat and down. Not much help there. MACD, hey, here's a glimmer of hope. Looky here. So you got a MACD cross. Remember earlier I said when you got those MACD crosses up here, that's maybe a sign to scale out. Well, now you're getting a MACD cross down here after all that red volume, getting some green in here. That's not bad. I only worry about the upside of this thing getting stuck at 4 to 5 cents. There's not a ton of upside unless you get past that, right? It's going to be a bit of a pain to get through that. I don't want you to get stuck in the mud. Bunch of other assets out there to buy. Be careful, you know what I mean? Don't get hung up on one. I know some influencers will tell you, hey man, get hung up on this one. This one's the best and the greatest because of this and this and this. But that's all subjective. What has that really done for price? And the answer is a bunch of nothing, right? So be careful on this one. It's not quite where it needs to be. I like today so far. That's a good push today. Be careful. She's under a lot of pressure. She's under a lot of stress and a lot of resistance. This needs to break and break hard past that 4 to 5 cent level. That's the major holdup for now for DAC. Fair enough? Fair enough. I got that whole clip recorded, and I'm going to make a stream out of that, and we're going to share that all around to everybody. Right? We'll put that on a clip on just for YouTube, and everyone will be able to see it, and it'll be awesome. Let's bust out a couple more real quick, and then we'll be done with the stream. Fair enough? Velodrome. Velodrome is one I've been watching for a while. It's a low cap coin that's on Coinbase and easily available for everyone to buy. I had a theory that these things would bounce up and do well. Please note that a lot of coins are down here at the Sniper's Alley level. What is the Sniper's Alley level? That's the 786, 886 level. That's an often bounce level. an often bounce level. Where are we bouncing to here? Well, we would be bouncing up. All right, we got some confluence here as well. RSI is starting to flatten out, no more big down, so we're starting to see a little bit of convergence come in. MACD, not quite there. Look, she's still thinking about it. She's about to cross, but she hasn't. All that red volume with no green. It's only a matter of time for the trend flips. All right, thank you for watching, Leon. I appreciate the hell out of it, dude. So other problem, we're just under everything. We're under every moving average. It's all pressing down. And while this thing can move very quickly, it can get very quick on a rapid pace, and it can take it in a day or 2 days breakout. It hasn't yet. It's a little bit safer to wait for the 821 cross, even though it's down here in Sniper's Alley and there's more rewards. There's also a ton of risk. This thing could still stab down again and come all the way down here and just ruin your day if it came down here, huh? All right, so please be careful. Some of these alts still look really bad. How about Gala? You guys know I've got a Gala node. I've had a Gala node since February of 2021. I've gained rewards, cashed them out multiple times, made really good on Gala. All right, made really good. I've actually got more than 353,000 Gala. I think I have like 380 or 385 now. It's almost 400,000 Gala. Still though, it hasn't done much of anything. Same situation here, only a little worse. And this is why I wanted you to see this one too. Same thing. We'll pull it up here. And as you see, we are in Sniper's Alley now. Still thinking about it. Hasn't broken out. Hasn't done much of anything. Under all the moving averages, just like Velodrome. Does this mean that some of these altcoins are going to drag their feet and take forever? I think that's a solid possibility. I think a bunch of these might just drag their feet before they do anything important. Not much we can do about that. What we can do is continue to chart this stuff up and try to make the most money out of the worst situation that we can. All right? Please, everyone, be careful. This market can be very volatile and be very crazy. Nothing I say or do is financial advice. I'm just some dude on the internet trying to help everybody learn how to read data a little bit better. All right? I want you to put the power in your own hands. I don't want you to listen to me. I want you to do it for yourself. Don't know how to do it? Brother, we got you. We got you. No problem. Right there. WAP.com/team786. I got a special coming for the month of July. We're going to run it for the month of July only. That'll be your last shot to get it. I didn't want to do this again, but I think it's necessary to help build sentiment. So we'll give one more shot to everybody, and not just for new people. I got something for the people who are already in as well. So if you get in now and you don't want the special, you're also going to get something else for free regardless. All right. Please lock in, everybody. Now's the time to spend the absolute most time you can, gathering all the data you can and getting as prepared as possible. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single one of you being on here. More than you can realize. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be right here with me. I appreciate that. I really, really, really appreciate it. I hope I can be as popular as James, whatever that dude's name is. What the hell is his name? James Wynn. I hope I can be as popular as him one day. I probably won't, but I hope I can be. I hope I can help as many people as he's led the wrong way. Right? I really, really hope that. Make the best of your todays, the worst of your tomorrows. Let's have a better day tomorrow than we had yesterday. All right? Let's have a better day every day. A little bit, little piece at a time. And please, last but not least, remember, if anybody else told you today, Keith will tell you. Keith loves you. I got your back, and I'm here for you, all right? For real. Thank y'all all for watching. I appreciate it. We'll be back live again Tuesday, 4:20, like we are every single week. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next stream. Sky's the limit. I'm out. Peace.